Hey everyone, it's Mr. Lentz coming to you again through the power of the internet. Today we're going to talk about character foils and we're going to get to know each other through our differences. If you know your color wheel, you know that green and red are opposites, right? So that ties in thematically with what we're doing because essentially we are talking about opposites today. So, what is a foil character? Well, when we've got two characters who are closely associated with one another, it could be a hero and their villain, or it could be a hero and their sidekick. Doesn't matter, just as long as they're associated with one another somehow. And those characters have opposing or opposite or conflicting traits. They will be considered foil characters. So, why do authors use foil characters? What's the purpose? It helps us as the audience pick up on important character traits of each of those characters. They essentially characterize each other because they're so different. So let's look at some popular examples from in pop culture. Okay, let's take Shrek and Donkey for example. If you think back to the first Shrek movie, think of what kind of character Shrek is, right? Not only are they different in size, but they're different in personality too, right? Shrek is a very angry, lonely, misunderstood person, right? He's very short tempered. But Donkey is a happy go lucky, can't shut up, almost to the point of being annoying, but yet still charming character, right? And because these two are so closely associated with one another, because Donkey is so outgoing and friendly, he makes Shrek, especially at the beginning of the story, before he goes through his character arc, seem even meaner and angrier and grumpier, right? And because Shrek is so mean and angry and grumpy, it makes Donkey seem even more friendly. Let's look at another example. In this case, we're going to use a hero and a villain. Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy. These two are even placed in opposite houses at Hogwarts. Harry is a Gryffindor, and Draco is a Slytherin, right? So, right from the get go, these characters are completely opposite. Think of their background, too. Where do they come from? Harry grew up parentless, and he lived under a staircase for most of his life before he was told that he was a wizard. Where Draco comes from a strong family line of wizards with a rich background in magic. This one's my favorite one. Out of all of pop culture, Batman and Joker, I think, are the quintessential character foils. Think of how the Joker behaves and acts, and think of how Batman behaves and acts. Batman's very grim and serious. He's often considered to be like an avatar of order and structure, right? Whereas the Joker seems to flourish in chaos and anarchy. Another reason why I really like this example of a character foil is their looks are opposites too. Batman is usually depicted in grays and blacks, whereas Joker has very vibrant colors like whites, greens, and purples. And finally, we'll look at a classic example from the Greek tragedy Antigone. We have the two sisters, Antigone and Ismene. If you don't know this story, Antigone is a very outgoing, brave character who is willing to defy the law of a king, even if it means that if she breaks that law, she will be sentenced to death. She asks Ismene for help, and Ismene instead decides to follow the law and is afraid to break. They have this discussion at the beginning of the play, and it really helps us understand that Antigone is really, really different compared to Ismene. So that's about it. That's what a character foil is. You just need to know that they're opposite characters, and because they're opposite, they help characterize each other. Hopefully, you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I will see you in the next one.